Okay, so good evening, everyone. Um, Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be in your midst today to present our webinar. Hopeful that at the end of the webinar, you would have informed knowledge and decision on how to proceed on your immigration journey for those that are interested in coming to Canada. A special greeting from Resettle in Canada to all our partners and participants that are able to make this webinar this Saturday evening. So thank you. Um, so just a brief overview about Resettle in Canada and who we are. We are an established immigration and educational company. We're located here. So we're an immigration and educational company. We're based here in Canada, in a province called Ontario, to be precise. Just a brief overview about me. I'm the lead immigration consultant at Resettle in Canada. I have 4 college and university education. I've been awarded and nominated on various fronts by different organizations here in Canada. As a member of the Immigration Council, I'm bound by the code of ethics to maintain confidentiality. So when clients come to speak to us, we always assure them that whatever is discussed in the consultation session is confidential. I'm an authorized representative of the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act. I have several years of work experience, not just in the Canadian public sector, but as well as in the private sector as well. Even though we're physically located in Canada, we do work with different agencies in different countries just to bring the service back home. So like today we have Carefront Travels with us. So they are trying to bring the service closer to you, even though we are physically located in Canada. What you see on the left-hand side is some of our skills and that we've been rated by some of our clients. And you can see in terms of immigration law, advocacy, we rank high and we know what we're doing. When we take a client, they're not just a file number. We ensure that they're giving due diligence and their advice from the beginning to the end. So it's an end-to-end process. So just quick overview today's agenda. I'm just going to briefly talk about resettling in Canada, talk about the difference between authorized versus unauthorized reps. A lot of people want to come to Canada. You would hear today the benefits of living in Canada. What is the advantage of being a Canadian? The different immigration streams. I might not be able to go into detail for every stream because every stream is unique and is specific to a client. So, and that is why when we get to the slide where we talk about our process, there is a particular stage called the consultation session, and that's where we go in depth to see what your profile looks like and advise on the best immigration stream that will work for you. We're also going to discuss about the Resettle in Canada advantage. So yes, so we are an immigration education consulting company. Like I said before, we're based in Canada. We do have vision and mission statement that we live by. We want to be the trusted and reliable immigration professional firm. So that what that means is that from the beginning, we tell you the truth. We disclose what is expected regarding your profile. We don't sugarcoat anything. We let you know so that you know what the expectation from both parties, from our own end and your own end, and so you can make an informed decision. In terms of our mission statement, we want to professionally process different types of applications. So we are competent in different immigration streams. We also welcome feedback from our clients so that we know how to improve on various forefronts. We render a lot of immigration services, but they can be bucketed into these 3 streams. The first is temporary residence, meaning that you just want to come to Canada on a temporary basis. If you want to come to school and go back to your home country, or you want to come to visit Canada as a tourist and go back. The second bucket is the permanent, meaning that you want to pack your things from your home country and move permanently to Canada to start a new life with your family. So there are different streams that are targeted towards permanent residents. Now, when you get your permanent residence, we've had clients that don't know anyone in Canada, so they want to get accommodation. They need resources in terms of getting a job, even shopping, where to get ethnic stores and things around. Settlement services is one of the other services that we provide as well. Our core values, some of our core values, we want to be transparent. So from the beginning, when we do an assessment, an eligibility assessment, we tell you what your options are, whether you like it or not, whether you're okay with what we are advising or not. That's another ball game. But we want to be transparent and upfront, committed to your file. So we would only accept you as a client after we've screened and assess your profile. We don't just take every application that comes to our desk. We screen and then decide which one we want to take. From time to time, immigration laws change. The labor market is always assessed by Employment Service Canada. And what that means is that from time to time, they will look and see what immigration stream they can introduce or which one should they continue in order to address whatever skills shortage or labor shortage they have. So this session is going to talk about who can handle your file. Who do you want to properly process your application? And that brings us to the topic of authorized versus unauthorized representative. I would introduce you to this website. It's called iccrc.ca. It's a government database that holds all immigration consultants information. So if you go to that website, all you need to do is, if you're talking to someone, for example, and they tell you, oh, I can handle your immigration file, I can help you process your work permit, I can help you process your skilled worker, or I can help you get your student visa to Canada, you want to be sure that that person is authorized, right? So in Canada, we have immigration consultants, we have immigration lawyers, but you want to be sure that whoever you're giving your information or your file to handle, you are competent to do that. So one of the ways you can check is iccrc.ca. That's a database that holds all immigration consultants information. Like I said before, we are regulated. We have a regulatory body that oversees our work. When you go to that website, you can put in the company name. So in our case, if you put in Resettle in Canada Inc., if you see a name pop up, then you know that, yes, we are listed as an active immigration consultant. The other thing you want to check is the status, because some people are in that database and they are inactive, their license has been suspended. So you want to check that whoever you're talking to has an active status. You can also check by the first name and the last name. So in my case, my name is Lilia Yamaber, so you can look up my name on that database. And if you see an active status, then you know that you're in good hands. So who is an authorized rep and who is an unauthorized rep? Like I said before, authorized representatives, they are regulated. They are licensed by the Canadian government to represent clients on immigration and citizenship matters. And by so doing, by so providing such service, they are permitted to charge a fee for that. They're knowledgeable on immigration and citizenship laws. Unauthorized representatives, on the other hand, they are not permitted. They are not authorized to give immigration advice. Anyone doing that is committing a crime according to Canadian law, and they can be fined or jailed for that. So like I said before, make sure before you entrust your file to anyone, you want to be sure they are authorized. If you're talking to an immigration consultant, go to this website, iccrc.ca, look up the information, make sure the person you're talking to has an active status. So this is a statistics that was done some time back, and we see that people that utilize an authorized representative, be it an immigration consultant or a Canadian trained lawyer. This is 70% in terms of positivity in their application file, compared to those who use an unauthorized rep, which is just 20%. So I leave that decision up to you. Who would you rather represent you? Again, the slide talks about authorized representative versus unauthorized representative. Just think about the scenario when you want to go hire a professional to look after you when you're ill. Who would you rather trust your medical file to? You want to give it to a professional, like a medical doctor. So this, what are the benefits of living in Canada? Everybody wants to come to Canada, but what are the true benefits? We do have safe neighborhoods. Our crime rate is low compared to other countries. We boast of a good economy. Our schools are ranked high. So we have various schools in different provinces. Our healthcare system, we boast of a good healthcare system. Even the way Canada has even handled the pandemic has been very good. Transportation system, we're top notch in that area. We also boast of a diverse and multicultural community, depending on where you live, depending on the province. We're very democratic and inclusive, and we're very technological advanced. So I'm just going to talk briefly about the multi-transit system that we have. We do have various ways you can use to transport yourself, even if you don't want to buy or own a vehicle. Immediately when you come to Canada, you could take the train, you can take the subway, you could take Uber, you could take a bus. And even in terms of even buying, if you don't have the full money to buy at once, you can lease to own. So pre-COVID, right, because everyone, due to the COVID pandemic, there was a travel ban and there was restrictions on who could come into the country. But pre-COVID, this is statistics that were showing that Canada was a major travel destination. We were recording approximately 600 flights on a daily basis that were coming to Canada. Canada remained a top tourist attraction for a lot of tourists. We do have a lot of airports, about 76 in number. The times where certain prospective clients or customers have come to us and they just want to compare what the living condition is in Canada versus their home country. So this slide kind of gives an overview of, what can someone purchase with a certain amount of money. So with $60, for example, you could do like basic grocery, like you could get a bottle of juice. I'm sorry, can you mute your mic, please? Thank you. I'm not sure who that is. So with $60, you can get a bottle of juice. You could get a crate of eggs for $4. You can do basic groceries to feed yourself and your family. It doesn't matter your gender. Even for a guy, you could do basic clothing shopping. You could get a top for $20, a wallet for $5, and in winter season, you can get a winter jacket for $50. So it just gives you an overview that you can do basic shopping with either $60 or $100, and it outlines the kind of items you can get. We have ethnic stores here in Canada, so don't be scared when you come to Canada. You won't have access to your local ethnic foods. We do have stores that carry Ghanaian products too. Our malls and outlets from time to time do give out coupons where they offer discounts to certain items. In terms of accommodation, when you come to Canada, there are people that have contacted our office because they don't know anyone, and so they want to sort out accommodation before they even come into Canada. We do have a partner that we work with, Canada Best Houses, and they can assist you in getting either a temporary rental place, or if you're ready to buy, you can purchase, and they can advise you on how you can go about either renting or purchasing. So this gives you an idea of what like rental looks like in Canada. So for like a shared room in a house, you can get one for about $600. If you have a bigger family and you want to rent a 2 bedroom, you can get that for about 1,300 for an apartment. If you decide you want to own, you just want to buy outright, you could get a condo for 300,000 or a bigger house for 600,000. But this is our partner that we work with, Canada Best Houses Inc. They can help you to settle down when you come to Canada. Social fabric. So this is a glue that holds a society together. In terms of multiculturalism, we boast of diversity and inclusion on all four fronts. We do have civic engagement. We do have different cultures showcasing their traditions and cultures at different times and different seasons of the year. Our major political parties in Canada are the Liberal and Conservative parties. And we all know that Canada is a bilingual country. Our official language is French and English, and that is showcased even in some of the immigration streams. For example, like the express entry federal skilled workers, where you're expected to write an English test, either in English or French. And if you are bilingual and you know both and you can challenge both exams, you get more points as a federal skilled worker. So I'm just going to play this video. This is a testimonial from one of our clients that we successfully assisted to come into Canada. Today she's in Canada with her family. I'm just going to play this video so you hear about her testimonial.
Hello everyone, my name is Clara. Hello, Mommy. Hello. We are on our way to Canada. We've gotten our permanent residence in Resettle in Canada. We had to work together to ensure that we got our permanent residence, and it was a total process. It was a smooth process. We didn't have a reason to fear or to have any issues. We followed the process as the immigration consultant told us to. And in record time, we were able to get a permanent residence. Resettle in Canada, great job. I would recommend you to anyone, and I'm already recommending it to people. All right. Have a good day.
Resettle in Canada is always searching for the best and brightest to resettle in Canada.
So that was one of our clients. She shot that video when she was actually on the plane from our home country. You could see her son in the video and her husband, and they were just giving like a testimonial of what their experience was in their immigration journey to Canada. Section 4 is going to talk about Canada immigration programs. Like I said, we have over 80 immigration programs. For time's sake, I won't be able to dive into every one of these programs, but I'm just going to touch on some and elaborate more. When we get to how Resettle in Canada handles application and process, there's a spot in there where we talk about consultation session, and that is where we tailor the immigration programs and advise on the best immigration stream that would work for our clients. Each client is very, very unique. So what might work for one client in terms of immigration option will be different from another client. So on the left-hand side, you see we have over 80 immigration streams. The first one is the Agri-Food Pilot Program, and that is a program that is tailored to the agricultural sector. If you are a farmer, if you are a processor, food processor, or someone that works with animals, the Agri-Food Pilot Program is an option. There is also in some certain immigration streams that are targeted to business-minded people. So if you want to start a business, either you want to buy an existing business in Canada, or you want to just start up your own, or you have an innovative idea and you want to come and start that in Canada, the startup program, the self-employed and entrepreneur stream, or the business investors are programs that are tailored towards the business stream. Caregiver program. So this is tailored to healthcare workers. We see a lot of nurses or a lot of people that have worked in the healthcare sector going into this program. It's a program that through it you can get permanent residency status. And it's a program that you have to take care of a senior or kids. And through that stream, after gaining the appropriate work experience, you can then apply for permanent residency in Canada. So we see a lot of people going into that caregiver program. Is a pilot program, a rural and northern immigration pilot program to the certain provinces where they need people. So there's labor shortage, right, in that area. So this was a pilot program that was introduced by that province to attract people into their province to come and work and live there. Now, if you remember, there was a certain slide where I was talking about temporary resident status. That is where visitor visa falls under. So there's some people that they're quite comfortable in their home country, but they just want to come and visit Canada as a tourist, right? So the visitor visa falls under that temporary residency status. As long as you meet eligibility requirements, you can come and visit and then go back to your home country. During this period of the COVID pandemic, there was restriction on the visitor visa because there was a travel ban, the whole world was shut down, so it didn't make sense to issue people with visitor visa. There were only certain exemptions for people that were granted this visitor visa, and that's if you had a family, if you had an immediate family in Canada, you would be granted an exemption to come to Canada to visit your family. But now things are beginning to open up, so I'm expecting in the next couple of months, they will start granting visitor visa. You can come to Canada as a tourist. The next one is citizenship. You can't get citizenship without becoming a permanent resident. So the first thing, if you want to become a Canadian citizen one day, you have to start working first on getting permanent residency. And then when you come into Canada, as long as you maintain your permanent residency obligations, meaning you have to stay in the country for a certain period of time, and you have no criminal record, then you can then apply for citizenship after a certain number of years. To talk about the skilled workers, the skilled workers fall under different immigration streams. The first one and the most popular one is what is called an express entry. As I was saying, we're talking about the skilled worker, right? So there's a popular immigration stream called the express entry. And under that, think of the express entry like an umbrella. And under that umbrella, there are various streams. So you have the federal skilled workers, and these are for professionals who have professional jobs. So are you a banker? Are you a teacher? Are you an engineer? Are you a doctor in your home country and you want to come to Canada under that category? Then the federal skilled worker is such a program. But you have to go through the express entry pool and apply as a federal skilled worker to come permanently to Canada. Under the express entry worker too, we also have the federal trade, the trade workers. Trade workers fall under the category if you're a carpenter, So if you do know any trade or vocational skill like carpenters, electricians, plumbers, those fall under the trades. And then the other category under that express entry is Canadian experience class, meaning if you're already in Canada and you schooled here or you're working here, then you can still apply under the express entry, but through the Canadian experience class stream. Okay, so that is one way to come as a skilled worker. Another way is for you if you are in a highly demanding area, so your occupation is highly in demand, and Canada has limited people working in that area, and they really recognize your skill and need your skills. There is a pathway where if and you get an employer who can grant you the job, then we have to file for what we call a labor market assessment, where you come here, work, and then we can file for permanent residency. I talked about business investors before, meaning you want to invest in a business, you want to start a business, you want to buy off an existing business. That's a stream for you. The student visa program, meaning that you want to come to Canada to school. So either high school or you want to go to college, or you want to do your master's or your PhD program. The first step is you have to get an admission letter. You have to get an offer of admission from the school that you're interested in, and then we can then use that to apply for student visa. Student visa is what permits you to come into Canada to school. Now, there's a pathway for you to transition from a student to become a permanent resident, right? So you can come here, school, when you finish, you'll be granted a work permit. You work for a certain number of time, depending on the province where you live and depending on the rules in that province, and then you can apply for permanent residency. Same thing if you're married and one partner wants to come, your other partner that is not schooling can come with you along with your kids. Your partner that is not schooling will be given a work permit while you, the main applicant who is the student, will be schooling, and your partner will be working to support the family. Your children too can go to Canadian school. So the student visa is a even though it's a temporary residence pathway, is a pathway that can eventually lead into permanent residency. So some of the immigration programs, like I said in the previous slide, fall into this four buckets. So family, Canada is big on family reunification. They don't like a situation whereby certain number of people are living in, family members are living in Canada and the other family members are in another country. So to them, family reunification is very big. So there are programs that get to that. So if you have a partner or if your spouse is in Canada or you're engaged to a Canadian permanent resident or a citizen, there's a pathway called family sponsorship whereby the person in Canada can sponsor you and then you can come in and then use that to gain permanent residency. Okay, so there's family sponsorship of spouse. There's also family sponsorship of parents and grandparents. So if there is a child here in Canada, and the child wants to sponsor their parents or they want to sponsor their grandparents, they can do that through that family sponsorship program. Again, for work, like I mentioned before, we have a program that is geared towards attracting skilled workers, trade professionals, people in high professional fields where Canada is really looking for people. So you come here, you work, and you file for your permanent residency, or through the express entry federal skilled worker, you apply, you selected from the express entry pool, and you just come here straight up and just start living your life and working. Study, I had mentioned before, you can come here to study. Your kids can come here to study high school or come and do college or master's program. or PhD programs, Canada is a very preferred destination compared to other countries. Our schools rank very high on the grid. So study is another route. The study route is another way for people to come here temporarily and then eventually transition into permanent residency. The people that are already settled in their home country and they don't want to just leave and come, so they rather just come as tourists. This is where the visit or the tourist visa plays a role. So the next session is going to talk about why should you retain Resettle in Canada as your immigration consultant. Um, the first one that we're going to talk about is professional expertise. You want someone that would handle, you want the person that is handling your file to know what they're doing, right? So we engage in professional development whereby we have to bring ourselves up to speed with the current immigration law that is required by a regulator. So we're professionals and we have skilled expertise in a lot of immigration streams. When you talk about immigration law, we're very competent in almost all of the immigration streams. Our clients speak for our work. We ensure that our client file receive the due attention. We advocate on all forefront, even if it means, you know, appealing such situation or whatever decision the officer has put on their file. And that is why we always advise clients when you come to a consultation session to be honest, right? If you've received refusals before, either in Canada or any other country, or if you have any criminal record, it's better you tell us the truth from the beginning so we know how to tackle the file than for lying and at the beginning and then only for us to find out later that one has a criminal record and we have to go fight to remove such a record before we can even handle the file. Our clients have exclusive client access to some of our resources, be it accommodation, be it preparation for IELTS, which is the English test. Most of the immigration programs require you to take an English test. Like I said, Canada is a bilingual country. So we have resources, or be it tailoring your resume, making your resume to be compliant to Canadian format. We do have resources that we share only to our clients. What does our process look like? So if someone is interested in engaging our services, the first step is allowing the person to fill an assessment form. So we send a link and the person fills that assessment form. I mean, what is in the assessment form is basic. We're trying to know you better. We're trying to know your profile. So we ask information regarding you, your work experience, your educational background. And we do an eligibility assessment to see if you even fall into any of the immigration stream. If you do, we move you to the next stage, right? And that is where we invite you. So first of all, the eligibility assessment is complimentary. There is no fee attached to that. When we get to the one-on-one consultation session, that is a paid consultation. And that is where you have the opportunity to talk to an immigration consultant regarding your immigration plan and regarding, you also get advice on how we can fulfill your immigration, how we can help you in your immigration journey. During the eligibility assessment and consultation session, you are not yet a client, you're still a customer. It is only after the consultation session, if you decide to engage our services, then we move on to the step called retainership. We prepare a service agreement, we send it to you, because in your immigration journey, both parties, both Resettle in Canada and you, have a part to play. You have a part to, if you're choosing an immigration stream that requires you to write English test, you need to write the English test. We on our own hand have an obligation to you to advise you on the best immigration stream based on your profile, as well as process your application and submit it to the appropriate immigration office. So we both have responsibilities to play. When we ask you for documents, when we ask you for your resume, you are obligated to send that to us. You're obligated to be truthful. You're obligated to be open regarding your profile. You're obligated to tell us if you've ever traveled to any country before, if you've received a ban on any country, if you have criminal record in any country, because whatever you tell us, that is what we are going to act. So if you hide certain information, and we push in the application, it will have a negative effect on you, because trust me, Canada, we share information, we share database with most countries. And if you have a criminal record, it will come out and you'll get a ban for misrepresentation, which won't be at fault because you never told us from the beginning. As against, if you tell us from the beginning that you have a criminal record, then we can advise on how to handle that criminal record first before we push in any application. So after the retainership, once we sign the service agreement and a service fee has been paid, then the process starts. That is where both parties begin to play their role. You submit your documents to us. If we need additional information, we contact you. If there's a delay in you sending us document that can impact the processing time, for your application. So it's best when we contact you, send us this document. For example, if you're trying to get into school for January, each school has timelines on when you must submit all the documents. If you don't send us the documents on time, there's no how we can submit the documents to the school on time. And the next thing is you might not be able to make that session. So once the process starts, we get a successful result, then the next thing is to move to Canada. And our job doesn't just end there. We don't just end once you get a response. We're still very in touch with even our clients that have moved to Canada. We help them with finalizing their coming to Canada, their accommodation, housing, job, and stuff like that. So retainership from process 3, 4, 5, you get your client starters. As against 1 and 2, you just the customer. This slide talks about some of expectations, some of the programs, approximate processing times, and approximate fees. Now, like I said, these are just estimates. Now, what we saw during the pandemic, during COVID-19, is that some of these processing times had to change, right? Because there was a travel ban and there was a global pandemic and we were focused on handling vaccines and stuff like that. So for express entry, for example, depending on the stream that you're coming in, should be federal skilled worker, be it a skilled trade, it could take approximately 12 months. And this 12 months can even be extended because it depends on if when you write your English test, sometimes clients would write the first IELTS test and they don't get the required score. So they have to repeat that test again. So that prolongs that 12 months, right? Or you have to do a credential evaluation of your degree that you got from back home. If you don't submit your transcript, if you don't submit your other documents on time, that 12 months can be extended. So that is why these are just estimates. Now, for the fee, it could range. It could range from 1,500 to 2,500. Everybody's situation is different, depending on your family size. If it's a single person, what is expected might differ from if it's a family that is coming with a family of 4. There's a program called Provincial Nominee Program, which is abbreviated as PNP. And that is where different provinces in Canada set up their own rules to select candidates that they want for their province. So think about province like states or regions. So those provinces would assess the skills that they need in the province, and they may say, you know what, we're lacking electrical engineers, we need electrical engineers in our own province. So province A requirement might differ from province B requirement, right? So when they do that, you submit your documents. If you fall under the skill that they are looking for in that province, so that's what PMP means. It's approximately 6 to 12 months. Again, the range is between 2,000 to 3,000 USD dollars. Student visa is approximately 6 to 8 months. That's if you want to come here to school. Now, again, this is student visa for a single applicant. It does not include if the whole family wants to come at one, like come with the main applicant. So if the wife is coming to school and the husband and 3 children want to come along, those are three different applications we need to push in. We need to do student visa for the wife, a different work permit for the husband, and student visa if required for the children, depending on the age. The caregiver program is the program I talked about where it's catered towards healthcare workers. And what they do is they come to care for an elderly person or a senior or children less than 18 years old. And once they get the Canadian work experience, they then use that work experience to apply for their permanent residency. The range is between 4,000 to 8,000 USD dollars. The time frame, the processing time frame is approximately 12 months, meaning 12 months to get the work permit for you to come into Canada to work as a caregiver. The 12 month does not entail, once you get the work experience, then is a different time frame for you to get your permanent residence. So thank you so much. That comes to the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for such an opportunity. I would hand over to Paul. If there are any questions, I can come back and take your questions. But thank you. It's been a pleasure to see everyone and to present what it looks like working and settling in Canada. Thank you.
There will still be an option for video and audio. So please make sure the audio, okay. Okay, so Lily, I think there's a question there from Summit.
Okay, so I see, what are the qualifications needed to sign up? Sign up for what? So you mean to do the eligibility assessment, or I don't get the question. You say, what are the qualifications needed to sign up? The first step, if you're interested in coming to Canada, there is a link. I don't know, Stephen, do you have the link with you that you can share with them in the chat? But there is a link which we sent to you.
It's posted already.
Okay, it's posted already. So it's where you can do your eligibility, where we do an eligibility assessment, right? We see, do you even qualify under any of the immigration stream? If the answer is yes, then we respond back to you and invite you to a consultation session. The eligibility assessment is complimentary, it's free, you don't have to pay for that. But at a point where you have to come for the consultation session, that is a paid session, because that is a session that is tailored to you, where we go through your profile and advise you on the best immigration stream. When you ask what are the qualifications needed, it's hard to I don't have your profile in front of me, so I can't advise on the qualifications needed. Each of the immigration programs have different requirements, okay? So in that session, you'll be told on the immigration stream that you qualify, and if you want to proceed on from that point, you'll be told what are the documents needed or the requirements needed for that stream. Hope I answered that question. Does that answer your question, Summit? Okay, so does that answer your question, Summit?
Okay, let me just quickly add to that question. Obviously, for every different categories as mentioned, there are some basic things that cut across all categories. Obviously, if you're planning to travel, you want to make sure you have your passport, you want to make sure you have some certain things, because those are the base, at least basic, that cuts across, whether you're traveling permanently or you're traveling just for holidays or for something else. But when it comes to, just like Lilia said, when it comes to qualifications, documentation, and what is required, yes, if you are coming as a farmer, it may be different from someone that is coming as a nurse, it may be different from someone that is coming to school. So each one will require different documentation. In fact, sometimes you may be required to write exams like the IELTS and things like that, or you may be required to take some professional exams or qualifications. Sometimes you may be required to make use of some international bodies to update, to put your qualification or your education into international standard, so that it will be able to compare with, with an equivalent in Canada. So all these things, there are different requirements, but it depends on what your own background is, what you're coming to do in Canada, that will determine what will be expected of you. Another example is if somebody is coming as an investor, because you can come as an investor to get papers in Canada. If you are coming as an investor, um, you would be you will be required to put down a huge amount of money. So that is different from someone that is coming as a student. So if you are coming as an investor, some of what will be required of you may be, a certain amount of money, not just money. You have to show records that you have such a money. Then you have to have maybe a business plan to show that you are coming to either be an entrepreneur to do a business in Canada, or you want to buy a business in Canada. So it's very different from if you're applying to come and school in Canada. And it's very different if, let's say, you are coming to join a family member in Canada. So all the different streams will be unique to your needs and what you hope to achieve. So I just wanted to add that to what Lilia said. Yeah. Okay, so let me take a question. I'll just take the questions and then I'll have Lilia to be able to address them. The first one, I think, has been answered. The second one, someone says, please, if lawyers fall within the express entry category, what category will military personnel fall within? So if someone is a military and that's their profession, if lawyers are within the express entry, where will military personnel fall within?
A military, again, so that is a general broad question. A military personnel can fall under the express entry too, but again, working as a military personnel as what though, right? There's certain military personnel that have certain other occupations rather than just being in the military. So again, I need the full profile in order to advise. Now, when you say express entry, like I explained, express entry is an umbrella, and under that umbrella, there are different streams. So you can't just say, oh, someone falls under the express entry. You need to know the particular category. So there's express entry federal skilled worker, there's express entry skilled trade, there's express entry Canadian experience class, right? Which are explained previously. So the federal skilled workers will be more of professionals, while the skilled trades will be more of trades and vocational. So military, I need to know more. What is the person doing in the military? Like what, other than just saying the person is in the military? I need
So
more.
another question, sorry.
Yeah.
Another question here says, is there any opportunity for people who find it difficult? So if someone cannot speak or write English, and they're not good in speaking or writing English, or they're not good in speaking or writing French, can they still qualify under one of the different opportunities or different programs to come to Canada?
So yeah, so when you say yes, so there are immigration streams that even though they say you have to you have to write English and French. The requirement is you when you write that English test, you need to score very high. So there are some immigration streams that are tailored to high scores. Again, there are some immigration streams that are tailored to basic English, so your score does not have to be as high as someone that is coming to Canada as a skilled worker, right? So to answer your question, yes, I'm assuming that your question is tailored to someone who just knows basic English. If that is it, then yes, there's some immigration programs that are tailored to.
What if someone cannot even understand basic English? They don't even know basic English, they don't know basic French. Can they still be qualified? They can't even communicate, they don't understand anything apart from a very local native language. Can they still qualify, and can there still be a program that can work for them?
The answer is no. You would have to take you, there are ESL classes, like English classes, that you can take in order to qualify for whatever program you're interested in. So sometimes in the immigration journey, you might want to gain permanent residency at once. It might not be possible, like in this instance, you don't even understand basic English at all. So you might have to tackle that first, like just take English classes and then use that to then move to the next level.
Okay, let me add to that. Yes, majority of the program will require either English or French. Another question here says, can you help someone to come and study or work? Okay, I think this person wants both. Can you assist one to go study and work in Canada without any difficulty? I think I would try to answer that. When you say, can you assist one to go, when it comes to coming into Canada to study or to work or to do anything, it's not just about what we can do for you. It has to do with what you are also bringing to the table. So your qualification matters, and not just what you have, but what you can actually prove. You can't say, I have this, and when it's time to bring documents, you start saying, oh, I'm coming. Then it takes months and months and months. So what you can have, and what you can have, acceptable document to prove that yes, you have you have those things. Then secondly, you said, can you actually want to study and in Canada without any difficulty? There's no 100% guarantee under any of the programs. Absolutely none. Either to school, to work, or to come to join a family or whatever. There's no 100% guarantee. So when it comes to coming to school, you may get admission and there'll be difficulty in passing through the immigration process. So that doesn't answer it all. A school may easily give you admission, but you can't just attend the school until you get the immigration documents to be able to come to the school. So one stage may be very easy to do. It doesn't mean the second stage will be very easy to do. Same applies to almost every other process. There are different stages, so each stage one has to be scaled. So difficulty is a very vague word to say without any difficulty, because one, you also have to do your own parts, then we have to do our own parts. And in some cases, even after presenting everything, they may still even say no. In some of those cases, then it may require us to create a process of either fighting it in court, not fight, challenging, such a situation in court if it looks like a very valid situation, and the person is qualified and things like that. So these are all different processes. So climbing through one stage to another, um, you know, um, does not, each of the stage, is very important, and one cannot be replaced with another. But difficulty is a very vague word. It doesn't mean your documents are not complete and then the thing should just go, how can it happen? Or you don't have some particular qualification, or you don't meet some certain things. So you have to meet some certain things, and then we do our own part. But even if everything is done well, in some cases, yes, immigration can still prove, they may still not give what they may still not approve. And in that case, in some cases, we may say, oh, this looks like something we can fight in court. And sometimes it will be approved eventually. So let me go to another question. Right now, I know the point is what will make you get your visa to go to Canada. Now, if you are able to provide all documents, but your point is still not the point immigration was expecting, what do you do now? I'm not sure what the person is saying, but I think what this person is trying to say is if they don't have enough points, maybe they are talking of the express entry system, or they are talking of if you don't have enough reasons to travel to get your visa to go to Canada. Now, if you are able to provide all documents, but your point is still not the point immigration was expecting, what do you do now? So I think this person is saying if you provide enough documentation and details, but you still don't meet the criteria by the immigration people, what do you do next? I think that's what they're saying. That's the question, I think.
Okay, so first of all, I don't think the person is talking about the express entry because number one, you won't even you're not expected to provide any document until you have actually met the point and you've actually been selected from the pool. I think what this person is asking is say you submit your application and you are still refused, I'm guessing. If that is the question, there are certain immigration programs that there are other options, like you can appeal the decision of the visa officer, or you can go for a judicial review where you go to court to challenge the decision of the officer.
Sorry, okay. Can we have Mimi? Is Mimi there? Can you ask your question yourself? Let her ask the question directly.
Hello, good evening.
Good
Yes, good
evening.
evening.
Yeah, it's exactly what you were talking about. It's about the express entry. Like you said, if you provide all documents that the immigration wanted, for instance, your IELTS, you had a point, you've been asked to provide other documents, you have it, but there are some points that you couldn't make it. For instance, you need to be there as a student to get a point. You don't have it. You need to have a work permit. You don't have it to get a point. You need to have a family there to give you a point. You don't have it. So in all this, it happens that at the long run, your point is not up to what they are expecting you to get. What do you do next? How do you qualify for the visa?
So her question is specifically for the express entry. So
Exactly.
and that is what I say, right? Like that is why at the beginning we do an assessment, we do a consultation session. From that session, if you're interested in the express entry, we run a simulation of your point. And we advise on what you can do to boost your score. For example, if you we tell you the numbers you need to get, the scores you need to get for the various categories for the English. And if you are bilingual or if you don't mind going to take French classes, what you can do to, if you take the French, it can also improve your score. There is another stream, the provincial nominee program. You can take advantage of that too. So we explore all options and we lay it down on the table before you even go and start writing the IELTS test. So by the time you're going to write the IELTS test, you already know that at a minimum, I need to score this to be able to pull through. Or if I'm married, it's not just me writing the IELTS test. My husband, my spouse needs to be on the table at the table too, and they too have to partake in this journey. What does your education credentials look like? So again, the way the express entry works, the higher your education, the more points you get. So yes, you don't have family in Canada. Yes, you don't have work experience, you don't have Canadian experience, you can't do anything about your age, but there are certain areas that you can work on, that you have control on, that can boost your score. So in your situation, I cannot tell you because I don't have your profile in front of me, but I've mentioned briefly some of the areas that you can utilize to boost your score.
Samuel says, okay, Samuel wants people, he said he would prefer you to allow us. Okay, Samuel, do you have a question? You want people to ask their question themselves. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Hello, Lillian.
Hi,
Yes. Thank you for your presentation.
you're welcome.
Yes, I think my first question was skipped. It wasn't answered. I asked what is meant by being legally allowed to work in Canada or being legally authorized to work in Canada. Because in an attempt searching for some of these jobs, you are being asked that question. I'm saying that because I have done my IELTS, I have also done my ECA report, and I'm attempting to submit application through the Saskatchewan Occupation in Demand stream, and also with the Northern and Rural Northern Immigration Pilot Program. In an attempt failing some of the jobs, these are the questions I've been confronted with, and that's why I asked that. Now, on top of that, a follow-up, what is your success rate in terms of RIC, I mean, resettlement in Canada? I mean, your company, your immigration consultancy, can you tell us your success rate before you now answer my question, please?
Okay, so I would tackle the first part of the question. I would let Paul talk about the success rate. Your
Yeah,
first question talked about legally authorized to work in Canada, right?
sure.
So you have to have that question is tailored towards people that are already in the country or people that are outside the country and they have been given the right documents. They've been given the appropriate documents to work in Canada. So if you're coming to Canada to work, you need to have a work permit, a valid work permit. So that question is, do you have a valid work permit? Is the work permit still active? That meaning that it's not expired. Are there conditions on terms on that work permit? There are certain work permits that will tell you that, oh, you can only work for a certain number of hours, while there are certain in certain occupations, while there are other work permit that is just open. You can work for any number of hours. If you like, you can do overtime. It doesn't matter. And you can work in any occupation. So that's what that question is asking in terms of legally allowed or authorized to work in Canada. Did I
All right,
answer
thank
that
you.
question?
Yes, I think it's duly answered.
Okay,
Okay.
so the second part of your question, which is what is the success rate for those that that we've worked with? There are two categories of people that we have in terms of clients. There are clients whose application was did not complete due to them not being able to provide or not being able to follow through. Either they change their mind or they initially want to come and for a particular program, then in between they change to something else. Then there are those that maybe, and that was why, I don't know if you heard when I was talking earlier, when people say, that there's another responsibility that comes to the client, which is, during the session, you can tell us, I have this, I have done this, so many things. That when it's time to provide documents, then you're taking time or you provide documents that don't look like genuine documents. They may be genuine, but they just don't fit what is acceptable documents and things like that. So that changes the process. So the process obviously will not continue if you don't have the documents to back up what you claim you have. Amongst those that have that have that we have agreed to finish, we've given a commitment that they will get a full, they'll be able to run the application to the end. I believe we have close to, I believe the last time it was about 88%. So I'll say close to 90% success rates. Those that maybe we even completed the application and they still didn't maybe get approved is mostly not because something wasn't done for them, but maybe what they brought to the table was not strong enough. You know, a good example would be if you are coming as an investor, there's a certain amount of money you need to have. If you have that amount of money, you may not still qualify because even though they're asking you to have maybe $1 million, it doesn't mean everything you have must be $1 million, including your house, your this, your that. It means you should be able to have $1 million, but you still have things to survive, you know. So yes, you may be able to provide that, or even if you're coming to school and you need $10,000 to come to school, that shouldn't mean that you need to sell everything you have and everything to make that $10,000. It means you have $10,000 separate from maybe your house, your income, how you feed your children, you know, and maybe other responsibilities. So so that's how I can just so there's this, you as the applicant also need to bring a lot to the table. And that is why during the consultation session, which will be a private session, one-on-one, your personal information will be reviewed. And it's a time, let me call it like a reality check, where it will be confirmed to you that maybe some things you have, you know, you need this, or maybe that one is not strong enough, or maybe you need to do this and do that. So it depends on what you bring to the table. We'll be able to tell you, okay, based on what you have now, you may need 1 year to go and do 1 or 2 things, and then you'll be in a better position to apply. So some people may have applied for something last year or 2 years ago. Maybe based on what they are bringing, it may not be the best time for them to apply. They may still need to go and do 1 or 2 things, then come back and then apply. So I can't speak for what each person does, but we wouldn't just let you go ahead if we don't think you stand a chance. So we would rather let you know what your options are. But you could choose and say, you know, I still want to go, I have faith and all that. Yes, we believe in faith, but we also believe in having the right paperwork for your application. Yeah. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Samuel. Right? Is it Samuel, right?
Yes, yes, that's
Okay.
Samuel.
Okay, so let me move to somebody else. Lydia. Lydia, can you go ahead with your question, please?
Hello, good evening.
Yes, evening. Sorry, go ahead, Lydia.
The money is quoted earlier on. So the money quoted earlier on, is it money for the processing, the registration, or is the money that's needed in your bank account? That's the bank statement.
I didn't get a question. Did you get it,
The
Paul?
money quoted earlier, there was a money quoted during the presentation
Yes,
session.
please.
So she wants to know if that money
Yes.
is that money for the processing? Is that money for the immigration consultant? Is that the money to show as evidence for to immigration? What exactly is that money for?
Okay. So that was an estimate of our charges,
Exactly.
our professional charges. It doesn't mean, so for example, if you're coming to Canada to school, that's not the money that you're supposed to show the immigration officer that is in your bank statement or in your bank account. That's money that we're charging you to handle your student application. Okay, so
Yeah, so
Okay.
the money
Okay,
quoted
thank
is
you.
the money you are paying to our company to represent you. That is not the same as the money that you will need to say, oh, this is my tuition, or this is my, what, you know, those requirements. That is different.
and it's different
Okay,
and it's also
so
and it's sorry just to cut you, Paul, and it's also different from, like, for example, in the express entry, right? Once you're selected for and you also selected from the pool and you're told to go pay your and submit your permanent residency application. There are things you need to do. For example, you need to do a medical exam. That money does not include the medical exam. You would go to the designated medical practitioners in your country that conduct such an exam, and you will pay them, to conduct that such an exam, right? The same thing if you have to do IELTS. It does not include that money. It does not cover your IELTS test, or if the government tells you to come and do biometrics because they want to check if you have a criminal record, it does not cover your government processing fees. It is Resettle in Canada is charging you to handle your file for that particular application. Okay.
I think she has a second question, which is the English exam compulsory in all streams or programs?
Most of the immigration stream require you to challenge the English test exam.
Yes. So she answered that earlier saying most of them do. However, some of them do not require you to score a very high score.
Yeah.
Most of them, some require you to have a high score. Some want you to just have a minimal pass. That would also work. So she answered that earlier. So Lydia, does that answer your questions?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I had another question, please.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, do you in any case work with companies or individuals who sponsor people into Canada to work for them?
Oh, here's a question for you.
Also, you said, do we work with individuals that sponsor people to come and work for them? Is that your question?
Yes, individuals or companies.
That sponsor that sponsor people to come and work for. It depends. Yes, we do under some streams. We have companies we work with, we have partners we work with, but not in all programs, and it depends. So that's require a different additional payments and additional funds, and it's not open to everybody. So it depends.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So let's go to someone else's question. Yes, I was referring to Dorcas. Dorcas, I think there's Dorcas here. Can you ask your question, Dorcas? Go ahead. Okay, I think Dorcas' question is to study. Do you help in searching for the school, or it's solely the individual's duty? That's
So,
Dorcas' question.
so yes, part of the student application, we help in searching for the school. We assist in advising on the program, and we also do the student visa application too.
Okay, I guess Dorcas' computer is muted. She may be talking, and maybe that's why we can't hear. But that was our question. Yeah, thank you. Then we have Techno. He said, my question is, what is the qualification for electrician to get a job in Canada?
Okay, so first of all, to work as an electrician depends on the province, okay? The province you want to go get the job. Different provinces have different requirements, but you need to be able to challenge the certificate exam for that trade for the electrician in that particular province. That's generally. Once you get the qualification, you can then once you get the certification, you can then use that and apply under the trades program.
So it's going to be under the trades program.
It's going to be under the
Okay.
trades express entry program.
Okay, thank you. So we have somebody else here, Memphis. Can you go ahead? Memphis has a question. Can you go ahead? Okay, I'll read Memphis' question. Maybe he left as well, or the person is muted. He said, "Can I get in touch with your team through the link sent?" Yes, there's a link sent, which is in the chat. So if you go into the chat, there's a link there. That's the link you should use to make to get to fill up if you want to continue, and or if you have any questions, just use that link there and use the link on the page. There's some links on that page. You know, like I said, for most of what we're doing, we're also giving some unique opportunities and privileges and discounts to those that go on that link only. For instance, a good example is if you're coming through the general link, if you go just on the website, you'll be paying $200 for a consultation session. But if you use the link provided here, you'll be paying $100. And that was because of the discussions we had with Stephen on making this available to those in your region. Okay, let me get to another question. Let me see. I don't know why. So Lydia already asked. Who else? Memphis. Okay. Samuel, what is meant by being legally allowed or authorized to work in Canada? I think he asked this
I
question.
think we answered that already.
Then there's someone, Collins. Can you please ask a question, Collins? Okay, so he said, I have 5 years experience in lab technician, but my qualification is senior high school certificate. Do I qualify for any migration opportunity aside the student visa? Okay, so this person said his job, I think he works as a lab tech, but his educational background, the highest education background he has is senior high school certificate. So I'm assuming he finished high school and he works as a lab tech. So he's asking if he qualifies for any of the immigration programs. His highest education is high school, and he has 5 years as a lab tech.
So once again, I want to say I guess yes. But again, I need more information. Is he married? What is he? Sometimes you alone will not qualify. Like you would get more points, or you would have more options if your spouse is brought. Like we assess both you and your spouse. So is he married? What does his spouse have? You know, and this is where we do assessment again. Like just asking a question based on just these two criteria. It's really difficult for me to answer, right? But if I just want to take it on the surface, work experience with high school, he can come here and study with only just those two information I have.
Okay, so let's see if there's another person with question. Okay, there's Mimi. She said, right now, I know the point is what will make you get your visa to go to Canada. Now, if you're able to provide all documents, I
We've
think
answered that
she asked
question
that question.
already. I think we've
Yeah, I
answered
think
that
we answered
question
that
already.
question already. Okay, so we have Daniel. Daniel, please go ahead. Okay, let me read this question. He said, I joined late, but just to find out what visa option available for finance person like me who wants to settle in Canada. I think that's a very broad question. He's
Yeah.
saying what visa options. I think what he's saying is what
Option.
program, which immigration program will work for someone that is maybe in the finance business, like a
Industry.
professional, like what options is open to someone in his field who want to move or relocate to Canada. That's what I think the question says. for someone, for a professional that may be in financing, accounting, those kind of field,
Again,
you know.
like you said, it's a broad question. Financing is it's broad. Like I would have to see a look at. I have to take a look at his resume. What kind of work experience does he have? Now, financing is different from accounting because there's some finance. There are some finance professionals that go the CFA route. Meanwhile, there are accounting professionals that go the chartered accounting route. So, how many years work experience does he have? What are his roles and responsibilities before I can even advise? Like, it's too, I don't have enough information to answer that question.
Yes, this is it's just too simple and general. Yes, through a resume, which is what some people call CV, that will show a lot of who that person is and where they're coming from. Okay, so let's move on. Someone else says, please, if lawyers fall within the express entry
I think we answered that question again
category,
already.
what category with military? I think we answered that earlier, yes.
Yep.
Okay, so let's move on. Is there any opportunity for people who find it difficult to speak? We did this too as well.
I think the one you jumped is OP. So does OP want to ask his question? I see his hands. Like he's raising his hand.
Okay, OP, I can't see that. Go ahead, please, OP. OP, yeah, somebody using the name OP.
So I want to ask if you want to apply as a student visa, must you have a degree, or maybe you want to go to school in Canada, must you have a degree here before you can apply for any school in Canada, or you can apply for a degree program in Canada, whereby you don't have a degree here?
Okay, so the question is, can you apply to a school here in Canada if you don't have a degree in your home country? Like what level of education are you applying for? A graduate program? Are you applying for like what level are you applying for?
A graduate program.
So you want to come and do, so when you say graduate, you're talking about masters. You want to come do a master's program in Canada and you don't have a degree? Is that a question?
Yes. Yes.
So most schools in Canada require you to have a degree to come and do graduate studies in Canada. Okay. However,
Okay.
there's some now the school requirement differs, right? There's some schools that will look at what you already have. Maybe they will take into consideration your work experience, especially if you're doing a program that is related to your job, and they can then tell you to do a program first, and if you pass that program, then you can then transit into the graduate program.
Okay. So please, what if you want to come do a degree program in Canada? Is it possible?
What do you mean a degree program? Like at a bachelor's degree? Is that what you mean?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So what is your level of like what do you have that you want to come and do bachelor's? Like what certificate or what level of education do you have?
I think
A
that's very
diploma,
interesting.
a diploma certificate.
Okay, so again, yes, you can come and do a bachelor's degree. That's no problem. Again, it depends on the school and it depends if you meet the requirements of the school. It's not just sufficient to say you have a diploma. Sometimes they look into your GPA and see if you meet the cutoff. But anyone
Okay.
can come and do their bachelor's or graduate studies as long as you meet the eligibility requirements of the school.
Okay. Please, one question more, and then I'm done. What if I applied as a skilled worker in Canada, and then I have a family, like a spouse and some kids? Is it going to cover them all to come with me? or my spouse has to apply for a skilled to be a skilled worker too?
She's saying if she's approved, will she be approved alone or should be approved with the whole family?
It depends on how you pushed in the application. So if you pushed in the application as a single applicant, then it's only you that is approved. But if at the beginning you say you want everybody to be included in the application, then once one person gets it, everyone will get it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, so we have Samuel. I'm not sure if it's the same Samuel. Can I use my graduate Sorry, is this the same Samuel that asked a question earlier? Please go ahead. I think Samuel.
Yes,
Yes, go ahead,
I'm the
please.
same Samuel. I asked this because of it's a follow-up to what the lady just asked. I am a graduate diploma holder, and in Ghana, it's been equated to a first bachelor's degree in Ghana. But then I realized that maybe in Canada, it might not be equivalent to a degree. However, I'm using the same certificate in Ghana to have obtained a master's degree admission. And so I'm asking, can I use same certificate in Canada to also apply for a graduate diploma or a graduate program, that is a master's program?
Again, it depends on the school you're applying to. It depends on their requirements of the school. So there's some schools that might accept it. There are other schools that will say, no, you have to do a certain program first before they would, like a pre or foundation class, before you can, foundation semester, before they would admit you into the master's program. So that's a broad question. It depends on the province. It depends on the school. It depends on your GPA.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So it varies from school to school.
yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I see a question from Domingo. He says, I'm a professional photographer, videographer, and video editor. I want to ask how I can apply for a job in Canada. Can I apply for a work visa?
So, again, okay, so general question, photographer, videographer, and video editor. You want to know how you want to apply for a job and how you can apply for a work visa. You cannot apply for a work visa until you've gotten a job. And you cannot apply for a work visa until whoever employed you, the employer, can prove to the Canadian government that they could not find a photographer or videographer or video editor who is a permanent resident or a citizen in Canada to do that job. Okay, there is a stream, an immigration stream, which can lead to permanent residency. It's called self-employed, where photographer, videographer, and video editor falls under, that you can apply and get permanent residency if you meet the requirements. Again, I don't have your resume, I don't have your profile, I don't know how many years of work experience you have. I don't have sufficient information to even advise if you qualify under that stream.
Okay. So
I think I'm just going to take one more question and then we can call it a wrap. So just one more question.
okay. So okay, I think this one has been addressed already. I think the question is about whether he can use his graduate diploma. That's from Samuel. I think it's been answered already. Can I use my graduate diploma to do it's been answered already?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, I don't see any other questions that are here. Okay, McAfee. Okay, I think Paul is back. Paul is back.
Steven.
Yes, please. Do you have a question, please?
Yes, I'm sorry, my network went off. I wanted to know whether I'm supposed to pay for accommodation before I resettle.
So your question is, say you already gotten permanent residence and you want to come into Canada, you want to know if you have to go get accommodation first before you come, or is that the
Yes,
question?
please.
So you can just, it's up to you. You can decide to do like a temporary, when you come into Canada, you have to sleep somewhere that first night at least, right? So it's up to you. Do you want to stay in a hotel first, or you do want to get an Airbnb and just use that place as a temporary place first before you get your accommodation? Or are you coming in as a student and school has already resumed? So it depends on you. You can decide to just get permanent accommodation before you come into the country, or you can just arrange somewhere temporary, and then when you come, you then get somewhere permanent. It's up to you.
You would have to work either on your own or you work with a realtor to help you get a place. You can't just land in Canada and you don't have anywhere you're going to. If you don't have anywhere you're going to, then you have to stay in an hotel. But most of those things, you should have booked them before coming, because you could even get to an hotel and it's booked. There's no space, you know. So you can't be taking Uber from one hotel to the other to find it. So all the arrangements you'll have made even before getting on the plane, you know, to leave, preferably 1 month, 2 months before you leave, or even 5 months before you leave, you start making arrangements for where you stay. Once you know your application is being approved. And that's when it gets to that stage, if that's the case now, you know, you can, there's a different session for that that will let you know your options, different kind of space, the price, the one that is cheap, the one that is, you know, close to transportation, you won't need a car, the one that will be on the outskirts, you know, so there are different options which may be relative to what you're going to do. If you're going to school, you may want to be close to the school or live on campus. So there are different options, and that's, you know, so we can, but there's a different session or a different discussion in terms of breaking that down to help you if that is your case, or maybe you are just asking a general question. But if that's what you need, we can schedule you for something very different from this, which will be tailored to manage that. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And please, I have a second question.
Sorry, go ahead.
Please, may I know your prices? Does it include visa fees? I want to know.
The prices, I'm not sure, but like said earlier, the prices quoted earlier does not include the fees for processing. However, when you're having a one-on-one consultation session, all the fees related to your own program will be disclosed to you. So, because the different programs have different fees, so it's all different, right? So, you know, so student schooling is different from express entry. Express entry is different from caregiver. Caregiver is different from. So they're all different. So, but when you're having your own direct or individual session, all the fees, government fees, this fee, that fee, everything will be disclosed to you. Yeah.
So another thing, yeah, yeah, Paul is right. And just in addition to what he said, from time to time, the government change their fees, right? So they might change biometrics. Like a few days ago, they just changed the financial requirement for express entry federal skilled worker, depending on your family size. So those fees change. The fees we showed you is what Resettle in Canada is charging you for processing your application. It excludes the government fees because that is going to an independent another body, and it excludes the fees that you have to pay to get your document, IELTS or credential ECA evaluation or any other medical biometrics. It excludes all those fees. It's just the money to process your admission, process your application.
Thank
Okay,
you
so I
very much.
think, yeah, you're welcome. I think we've taken all the questions right now. So we're just going to remind everyone, thank you for taking our time. I want to thank the Carefront Travel and Tour for putting this together. I'll give Stephen, you know, an opportunity to say a few things. Um, then we'll just give a few reminders, and then we'll end right now.
Okay, so thank you, Paul. Thank you, Lilia. As I said, I think at the very start of the info session today, this will not be the last. This is actually the first of many. So if for any reason, maybe there was a question you wanted to ask, you forgot, I mean, you can remember and then ask later. Thank you all for also making time to also come and find out what is necessary, what is needed if you want to resettle. And I believe that this will be something that will be a regular feature also on the calendar of Carefront. So Lilia, thank you so much. Paul, thank you for your time. I believe we should do this again very, very soon. So I think there's a link that was shared. When you look on the right side of your screen where there's a chat session, there's a link that if you want to sign up for the program, is there, resettleincanada.com/carefront travels. You just click on the link. It takes you to a page. You fill in the form, all the details that are there, which of course you have to fill. If you want to also contact us, we are also available. You can just walk into our office because we are based right here in Ghana. So you can also come and pay us a visit in our office. Our numbers, everything you need is there. So you can just also do a walk-in, come into our office. We sit down, we take you through the process. So Paul, thank you. Lillian, thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, so as Stephen mentioned, yes, all the information is available on the link, is in the chat. The address for Carefront Travel is also at the bottom of the same page. So, and the phone number, all the information are on that page. There's also a link there to register for more information. So everything you need is on that page. So make sure you take advantage of the page. However, if you need more, maybe you want to read more, you want to learn more about coming to Canada, you can go on the same page to read frequently onto the frequently asked questions page. You see just basic things, simple things, general questions in general. Some of the questions asked there, even other questions you didn't ask here, you know, they're being answered there. So you can just read up to learn more. But if you want to sign up or you want more further information, just go back to this same page. And on that page, there are some forms there for you to fill. When you fill it there, they will not get in touch with you. But and at the bottom there, you see the address for Carefront Travel and Tour in Ghana. You can, you know, also pay them a visit or follow up on this same. If you want more information or to follow up, you can go there as well. And there's a phone number there as well. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming down. Truly appreciate this and hope to hear back from you. And then we'll take it from there. And thank you, Lilia, for taking our time to answer the questions and for giving us a presentation. Thank you for making it out here.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Carefront team. And thank you to all the participants. It was a pleasure presenting today. Hopefully I'll see some of you either in another session or in a conference. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and stay safe. Okay, bye now.